We finally got an announcement on the name and a few details of Lorcana's second set, which is slated to release for hobby stores in mid-November and worldwide or store-wide everywhere else on December 1st. So let's jump into the video and take a look at what we know so far about Lorcana's Set 2. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and thanks so much for being here. If you do enjoy the videos, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to the channel and clicking that bell icon if you want to stay notified when new videos are posted. I cover primarily Magic the Gathering, but there's been an expression of interest from the community about Lorcana on the channel, so I've been trying to cover that in bits and pieces, do some openings, and we're gonna roll with it and see how it goes. So if you're here for Magic, don't worry, that's still primary. If you're here just seeing the Lorcana stuff for the first time, go ahead and subscribe, and I'm going to try to be a good news source for that as well. So, obviously, if you haven't been living under a rock, you've probably heard all kinds of news about Lorcana lately. It is all over the place, and it has been scalped to oblivion, which is really unfortunate. People are buying it out at crazy prices and then going ahead and, turning around to sell it at even higher prices. MSRP for a box is supposed to be like 150, and they're selling it like 380 online. If you're on like Reddit or any of the Facebook groups and stuff, you'll see people like bragging about how they bought out like 10 times the stock and are now selling it. So I won't get into my opinions about scalping in this game and sort of how that works right now, just because I think that there are probably a better time and place for it. But just wanted to vent a tiny bit here. So set 2 is officially here, I suppose, in terms of at least being confirmed to be a thing. It is titled FLOODBORN, and it is absolutely interesting to say the least, because what we've got today, and we're going to talk about all this stuff, are, I think, 12 new cards so far that have been previewed, plus the upcoming slate of products that are on their way as it pertains to this set. So let's first take a look at that. So there is a gift set that is announced commemorating in collaboration with Disney 100, which is pretty cool. You'll see there are 6 enchanted, I think these are going to be considered enchanted rares, that are promos for this gift set, and they're all autographed by the artists. There are a couple of them are reprints from the first set, a couple of them are new cards, so you may not recognize the ELSA and the Mickey yet. I do like the artwork here. I have to say they are telling us that the gift set will be retailing at $50, meaning that you're getting 4 packs and this set of promos for $50. I don't necessarily love that in terms of value, especially because none of these promos are very good cards, except for perhaps the new Mickey. But there will obviously be people who are interested in this, and I just wonder what the availability is going to be. I also don't know if these are technically going to be considered enchanted, quote-unquote, because it does have a different symbol down at the bottom there, but that's, more getting into the weeds and something we could talk about a little bit later on. We do know there will be 2 new starter decks, one themed around the Queen and Gaston, and one themed around Merlin and TIANA. It looks like it's going to be Amethyst and Steel for one, and Amber and Sapphire for the other. In terms of what else will be in those decks right now, nothing is known. We just know that they're there. We've got the Rise of the FLOODBORN Lumineers Trove. I really like the Lumineers Trove product. I think it's pretty cool. It's essentially a fat pack or an elite trainer box, whatever you want to call it if you've played, you're coming from other game backgrounds, but 8 packs, and you get the storage box, which I actually really like. It's got the dividers. It's really nice. It's not the best quality or anything like that, but it works well, and it's a nice, fun product to open, and you're basically paying $50 for 8 packs, which are, is almost exactly what they're supposed to cost. And when you consider how scalped everything has been, it's really not that bad. So I actually like the Lumineers Trove a lot if you get them at retail. So I'm glad they're continuing that. These are what the box arts actually look like. It looks like, I don't know her name. Well, I'm thinking it's Raya from Raya and the Lost Dragon is going to be one of the primary pieces of this set. They've talked about some of the other things that'll be included in here is Zootopia, as well as more Princess and the Frog, and I believe the Great Mouse Detective. So other stuff to look forward to. There's over 200 cards in the set, but that's what we're getting for booster boxes. They've got these sleeves here they're showing off, which actually look really cool. And these sleeves here. I think there's also some new playmats. There's a Winnie the Pooh Honey Sorcerer, or whatever he's called, and a Beast playmat. Both of these are amazing. I haven't been able to find any of the existing playmats yet, so I don't know what the scarcity will look like for these. Hopefully they're going to overprint and have a good amount in circulation, but that, again, I'm not sure. So a solid slate of products here. That gift set, though, I don't know what to expect in terms of how available that's really going to be. We're all going to have to wait and find out together on that one. So that's kind of what the slate of upcoming products looks like. And of course, we do have a rewave of set 1 scheduled for multiple times. I believe October and early next year, there should be more rewaving. So hopefully that drives the prices down for scalpers. But let's take a quick look at some of the cards that were revealed for the upcoming set. Preview cards, if you will. There are over 200 cards in the set total. So we got a new Elsa. It is Gloves Off. It is a 4-drop with Challenger +3, so it's going to be a 6 when attacking. On the surface, I don't think it's that great. It's definitely some cool artwork, but it doesn't strike me as any kind of a game-changing card. But, you know, obviously, Elsa's one of the biggest, you know, marketable characters right now for Disney, so it makes sense that they would include a new one here. Now we've got Gaston, who's actually going to be in one of the starter decks, as well as obviously the main set. He costs 6, he can't be inked. He's got shift 4, so we can play on top of another Gaston. And then when you play this character, look at the top 3 cards of your deck. You may put one into your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Obviously, the biggest problem for this game, in my opinion so far anyway, has been the fact that there is not a lot of resources, unless you're playing yellow and or purple, where you really don't have a lot of draw power at all. So it's nice to see cards that are going to generate some advantage. Obviously, paying 4, he can quest for 3. He looks like a pretty good card. We'll have to wait and see. There are only red Gastons right now, as far as I know, so it's interesting that they're doing the shift thing, like you can shift onto other colors or whatever. Maybe that'll become something that's a bit more prevalent. We've got Cinderella, which is a super rare. I wasn't sure if it was legendary or super. I had to cross-reference the guide there for a minute. It's a 7-drop. You can shift 5 on top of an existing Cinderella, and it has resist 2, which is a new mechanic, and it says damage dealt to the character is reduced by 2, so that's actually pretty solid. Whenever you play a song, this Whenever you play a song, this character may challenge ready characters this turn. So that is really interesting. Ready meaning not tapped or not exerted, so you can tap something. This is a solid way to get over things that, like, you know, are comboed with things like Shield of Virtue, maybe, to stop that Aladdin combo. This can tap for 3, so it's not bad. I kind of like this. It's a cool concept for Cinderella. I definitely wondering if we're going to get other Cinderellas in the set as well. But seeing as the existing Cinderellas seem to focus on or benefit from song inclusion, I think maybe you look at some kind of steel, you know, yellow steel deck with Cinderellas and song inclusions, obviously, with the Ariel. So this is not bad. It's a pretty darn good card. Now, TIANA getting, I think, her first card here, and this is a 4-drop, but it can't be inked, has resist 2, and then while it's exerted and you have no cards in your hand, opponents can't play actions. It was only a matter of time until we got something that was going to be, for my Yu-Gi-Oh players, like, you know, like Skill Drain-esque, or, you know, I'm sure there's plenty of Magic cards that work similarly, but basically, you know, you can try hard to get rid of cards in your hand and then lock your opponent on being able to play actions. Obviously allows you to protect your board from things like Be Prepared if you can set the board up that way. So it feels like this is going to be a card people are going to try to find ways to make work. And at 4, it doesn't cost a ton. Obviously, like I said, you can't ink it, but it's 4. It's got the resist mechanic. This is definitely going to see play without a doubt. I just, you know, I don't know exactly how yet. I think a lot of that will depend on what we get in the set and what other new cards come along with it. Dinner Bell is a rare item, and it's tap and pay 2. Draw cards equal to damage on chosen character you control, then banish them. So nice to see red get some draw power here. I don't know, maybe with steel or with maybe bodyguard variants, things with high health where you can, like, take a lot of damage and then get a bunch of draw power. There's definitely ways to make that work. And you, of course, can challenge something and put damage on it yourself, you know, by forcing a challenge. So this one's interesting, and it's nice that they are giving more draw power going forward, because that's really one of the bigger areas that I think decks need right now. And we've got Raya, just regular here, 4-drop. It's a 5/3 that can quest for 1. Nothing crazy, just an uncommon, but cool to see the inclusion. I gotta imagine that she will have a higher, you know, a more powerful, higher level card at some point in this set as well, being one of the themes of the starter decks, but this is what they leave so far. Now here we get to Belle. Belle is absolutely insane. And I'm sorry, I've read this card like 4 times, and I can't come to terms with how they thought this was fair and balanced. I think it's a slight example of power creep. I mean, it's not super egregious, but it's really, really good. This is a legendary. It's a 5-drop. It can't be inked, thank God. But it has shift 3, so you can pay 3 to play it on top of an existing Belle. When it's challenged, the challenging character's player discards all cards in their hand, which is just absurd in its own right. But then it quests for 3, so you can play this for 3 mana and quest for 3, and the opponent either has to leave it there and let you keep questing, or get rid of all cards in their hand. And obviously, if you're playing this with steel and utilizing cards like A Whole New World, there are so many cheeky combos you can do with it. But of course, the biggest one that people seem to have pointed out so far is with Long John Silver, giving something reckless and then being able to, you know, force them to attack, discard their hand. I mean, there's just some disgusting combos on the surface with this, and it feels very low cost for what it can actually do. I think Belle is going to be a hot ticket item in the set, and it's going to command a high price without a doubt. Let me know if you guys differ on this, but I'm fairly certain that's kind of where we're looking at with Belle right now. Mickey Mouse got a new super rare. It is a yellow, and I love the art. It's just really cool. A 6-drop, and it is a 1/6, but when it quests, you pay 3 less for the next character you play this turn. So it quests for 3, and then you can pretty much play a 6 by paying 3 mana, or, you know, you can do math. Obviously, you can figure the rest of that out. He is pretty freaking cool, and I do like it. And, of course, this is one of the ones getting the Disney 100, getting its own promo version there. Actually, one of the only good ones, like I said. The Powers Unleashed Genie's not terrible, but I don't think it's great. But yeah, this is a really cool card, and it might be one of the better Mickeys. I mean, it's not as good as Brave Little Tailor Mickey, of course, but definitely up there in the conversation, and it is a pretty good card overall. Zero to Hero, we get a new song, of course. You know, Hercules, I'm not going to sing it now, but you can probably hear it in your head. It costs 2, and of course, being a song, it can be cast by tapping a character with cost 2 or more. Count the number of characters you have in play. You pay that amount of mana less for the next character you play this turn. If you're playing a deck that has a lot of either high defense creatures or just low cost, you can kind of spam stuff out. You can use this to cheese out a much bigger, more powerful character, and it's definitely a really solid card, I think, depending on the deck and the fit. You obviously want to sing this in order to maximize playing it, because if you're paying 2 mana, you're right off the bat, you know, losing 2 of what you're paying. But a good card nonetheless, that I'm sure will find its way into certain decks. We've got the Queen as a super rare. The first Queen that we have is actually pretty darn good, so I'm not necessarily shocked to see, you know, that one here. And it looks absolutely pretty darn good. It is going to have Shift 2. You may pay 2 to play this on top of one of your characters named the Queen. And whenever a quest shows an opposing character, it gets -4 attack, and this gets +4 attack. Oh, no, it's not this. I'm sorry, I misread this as I'm doing this reaction live here. It actually gives any chosen character +4, so this just has to quest. You can buff something, so it's like a super cool version of support that also takes the power off. This is pretty much going to allow you to get rid of most things, and nice inclusion here. I like this card quite a lot. Just kind of rereading it here. The Queen, commanding presence indeed. And Merlin, Shapeshifter, it is whenever one of your other characters return to your hand from play, this character gets 1+ lore counter this turn. There might be ways to stack this up pretty darn good. Definitely interested to see exactly what we've got going on here with Merlin. And I don't know if this has got to be the Merlin in the deck, obviously being the rare. But he's definitely pretty solid, and I like that they're giving some more unique effects as we get into the next set and kind of keeping things fresh and interesting. And of course, Winnie the Pooh, Honey Wizard. This artwork is absolutely amazing. People are going crazy over it online, and it's kind of hard to blame them. This is pretty freaking cool. He's not exactly incredible, but he's also not bad, and it's a 5-drop 5/5 that quests for 2. I love everything about the playmat, the art. It's all so cool. I think this is going to be one that is very popular with people, and hopefully, you know, maybe we'll get some more Winnie the Pooh stuff in this set too, but this one kind of hits home for me. I really, really like that. The Sorcerer's Spellbook costs 3. You can tap and pay 1 mana to gain 1 lore. I really like that as well. An exceptionally cool card, and I do feel like there might be ways to utilize this, you know, later in games, getting multiple copies out, starting to gain lore in ways that your opponents can't just swing over and challenge. It's a pretty good card across the board, and I absolutely, and I think it's going to be very popular and have a lot of appeal with players. Sure. That brings us back to ELSA. So I just kind of wanted to do a live react to some of this stuff, going through and looking at it. I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff to look forward to, and I find this game to be very fun. The biggest thing for me right now has obviously been accessibility. It's borderline impossible to get your hands on most of the stuff, but hopefully they'll address that issue, and going forward, you know, we'll be able to get things more easily. Let me know what you guys think so far of the reveals for set 2. Are you planning on buying anything? Where do you stand in terms of, you know, being able to get stuff? Are you hopeful that things will get better? Has it been a deterrent for you? Would love to hear any and all thoughts you have on Lorcana in the comments below, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.